Sophisticated ignorance, prayer of a broken man, God is not your boyfriend, fear your own kind. These are just some of the deep, moving and thought-provoking poems contained in Ntobeko Mchunu's poetry collection book titled Poetry Wrote Itself. The project is a mixture of Ntobeko's real-life experiences fused with what he calls charming fantasies for those who are hopeless romantics, dreamers, and those going through life with saddened hearts. He joins us now from his home via Skype to help us unpack some of the poems that he shares in the book. A very good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. So let's start with the title of the book and why you decided to put together this collection.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the platform as well. And so the title of the book, Poetry Wrote Itself, was basically, I never knew that I actually had a knack for writing. So how this whole thing actually started about, my dad passed away in 2015. And I decided to use writing as an escape form for me. So, I used to write my feelings down because I never spoke about them to anybody. And then, it was a learning experience for me. I decided to write a whole lot of these feelings. And then, but it was a compilation of poems because I never knew that I actually had the talent to actually write. Sometimes you get the ability to recognize some of your talents by going through a particular experience as well. So that's what it was. So Poetry Wrote Itself is basically a compilation of poems that I wrote not knowing that I had the talent to actually write about poetry.
So it was somewhat of a cathartic experience for you?
Absolutely, 100%, yeah.
So the first poem that you share is titled These Words, and the opening line says, "Pardon me if I get too deep," and that's exactly how the book is. It's deep and it's thought-provoking.
Absolutely. So that was just the introduction of the rest of the poems that were going to be, broadcast in my book, and so it was, a way of opening up the sort of like a mystical, if you walk into a room and you don't know what's going to be happening inside there, so it was an introduction basically of what people can expect later on in the book as well. So, I thought maybe, it was quite intriguing trying to put this book together. It took me about 2 years to actually put it together.
Wow.
And it was incredible actually going through the experience then as well. Quite an amazing experience, yeah.
Going through some of the poems, you strongly express your views on colorism, racism, and the challenges that actually come with that.
Absolutely. That was because I've got a muse. My muse is actually slavery. I've taken a particular interest in the history of slavery and all those things. So, and I've been fortunate enough as well. God has actually blessed me with being able to travel and see the world. And so based on some of those experiences, you travel the world and then you actually get to experience some cultures and you go through things. And so I was able to, pen those words on a piece of paper because, we're all people at the end of the day. And it's very important for us to actually try and understand each other as a culture. Not just based on skin color and based on stigma and perceptions, feeded by hatred or just not knowing another person, you know what I mean? So it was quite an experience for me to actually write about such things. So, you do experience some really tough things on this planet, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's it.
Can you share with us one of your traveling experiences or a place that really changed your mind and awoke this in you?
I've been to Poland, and I got to see some of the, Poland during the World War II. They have some old buildings and all those things over there. So they have some of the buildings which have been destroyed, and from the Holocaust then as well. Because I have taken up an interest in what happened in the Holocaust where there was an assassination of about 6 million people, and you can't ignore such facts. It's very important for people to actually recognize historically what has happened for us to be here today. And so, based on my experiences that I've seen what they use over there, the gas chambers and all those things. So it was quite shocking to actually see or try and understand the human psyche about how can one particular human being do something like that to another human being as well, So but it's just a combination of those poetry. But not everything is doom and gloom, though, obviously, in the book. There are some parts of the book which are quite happy, energetic, laughable as well. So I try to incorporate a lot of mixed emotions in the book as well. Anything from love, happiness, politics, spirituality, and so forth.
And another theme that you bring up is manhood, black loner, the frustrated man, which actually focuses on being a man in this day and age.
Absolutely. You know, during the period of lockdown that we're going through right now, you know, I've seen on the news that there's a lot of gender-based violence, which has actually escalated. And so the frustrated man basically talks about the modern man today and how he's probably lost his purpose from you know, his calling as a manly figure. I think people, you know, confuse the idea of what it means to actually be a man these days. You know, you don't use your strength or your energy to try and suppress the opposite species or the females, in this particular instance. So, you know, when you're looking at the news and you're following it and you actually see that there's an increase in just gender-based violence, even against children as well, you know, it frustrates you as a person because you think to yourself, but, you know, we're so far gone now from knowing our role as people on this planet, or let alone just men then, for instance, you know. So we can't use that as an escape to actually suppress our frustrations as men.
All right, thank you so much. That's Ntobeko Mchunu. He joins us via Skype. Thanks for chatting to us here on Morning Live. He's been speaking to us about his poetry collection project entitled Poetry Wrote Itself. All the best of luck with the book.